I never thought my quiet lake cabin in Lake George, New York, would become the scene of an epic showdown. But that's exactly what happened. My name is Mark Sterling, and it all started when I bought this beautiful little spot. It was my personal getaway from the city chaos. The cabin came with one tiny catch, a homeowners association, or HOA, called Pine Haven Estates. Now, I'm a rule follower. I pay my dues on time and keep the place neat. So I figured, how bad could it be? Famous last words, right? The trouble began with a woman named Brenda Vance. She was the self-appointed queen of the Pine Haven Estates HOA, patrolling the neighborhood like it was her kingdom. My first run-in was over my mailbox. Apparently, it was half an inch too far to the left. Then it was the color of my welcome mat. It was a constant barrage of petty complaints and passive-aggressive notes. I tried to be neighborly. I really did. I'd smile, wave, and fix whatever tiny infractions she discovered that day, but it was never enough. It felt like she was just looking for a fight. Things escalated when I decided to build a small private dock. I did everything by the book. I spent months getting the right permits from Warren County, the state, and the Department of Environmental Conservation, or DEC. I had a stack of approved documents thick enough to stop a door. I hired a reputable contractor, and we began the work. The moment the first post went into the water, Brenda Vance went absolutely ballistic. She claimed my dock was an inch too long according to some obscure HOA bylaw from the late 70s. She started leaving threatening notices on my door, saying the HOA would fine me into oblivion and have my dock torn down. I showed her my permits, but she just scoffed and said, "Warren County permits don't matter here. I am the law here." It was getting ridiculous. I was stressed, and my peaceful retreat was turning into a battlefield. I decided I needed legal advice. Through a friend, I was introduced to a guy named Mr. Donovan. He wasn't just any lawyer. He was a highly respected state attorney. We agreed to meet at my cabin to discuss the situation. We were going to review my documents. It was a Saturday morning. The lake was calm, and for the first time in weeks, I felt a glimmer of hope. Mr. Donovan was incredibly professional and reassuring. We sat at my kitchen table, coffee in hand, with all my permit and HOA documents spread out between us. He was examining a blueprint when we heard a loud banging on the door. It wasn't a knock. It was a full-on, frantic pounding. Before I could even get up, the door swung open, and there stood Brenda, phone in her hand, recording. She didn't even see Mr. Donovan at first. Her eyes were locked on me, blazing with fury. I knew it. She shrieked, "You're doing unapproved construction. I'm documenting this for the HOA lawsuit. You are going down." She panned her phone around the room, trying to capture some evidence of my supposed crime. Her camera swept past the blueprints on the table, past the coffee cups, and then it landed on Mr. Donovan. His expression was calm, almost amused. He slowly looked up from the papers, raised an eyebrow, and spoke. He said in a very quiet, very authoritative voice, "Ma'am, who are you? And did you just illegally enter this man's private residence?" Brenda froze, and the color drained from her face completely. She stammered, I'm with the HOA. I have a right to be here. He's violating the rules." Mr. Donovan slowly stood up, and you could just feel the shift in the room. He was a tall man, and his presence was commanding. "No, you don't have the right to be here," he said, his voice dropping an octave. "You've just committed breaking and entering, and since you're recording, you're also creating evidence of your crime. Congratulations." He pulled out his own phone and his badge. "I'm State Attorney Donovan. I'm here on official business, which you have just interrupted. Now you have two choices. You can leave this property immediately and delete that video. Or you can stay and explain to the Warren County Sheriff's deputies why you felt it was appropriate to barge into a private home." I've never seen someone backpedal so fast in my life. Brenda's jaw was on the floor. She started sputtering apologies. "Oh, Mr. Attorney, sir, I am so sorry. I didn't realize. I thought it was a misunderstanding. She was fumbling with her phone, trying to frantically delete the video. She looked absolutely terrified. Mr. Donovan just stared at her, his expression unreadable. This is not a misunderstanding. This is harassment and trespassing. I have reviewed all the permits for this dock. They are perfectly in order. Your campaign against this homeowner, however, is not. He took a step forward. I suggest you return to your own home and seriously reconsider your role in this community. If I hear one more complaint about you harassing him, it won't be an HOA notice you receive. It'll be a court summons. Do you understand me? Brenda just nodded, her eyes wide as saucers. She couldn't get out of my cabin fast enough. She practically tripped over my welcome mat, the one she hated so much, on her way out. The door slammed shut behind her, and the cabin was suddenly silent again. I just stood there, stunned. I looked at Mr. Donovan and just started laughing. I couldn't help it. The relief was overwhelming. He chuckled too. Well, he said, sitting back down, I don't think you'll be hearing from her again. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. The structural integrity of this corner post, and that was it. The reign of HOA Brenda Vance was officially over. The dock was finished without another peep from her. In fact, I barely saw her after that. When I did, she'd practically run in the other direction to avoid making eye contact, and the neighborhood became peaceful again. My Lake George cabin finally became the sanctuary it was always meant to be, and it's all thanks to a well-timed meeting with the state attorney. Sometimes, justice isn't just blind. It also has a great sense of comic timing. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories.